Today I wanted to talk about my one true love, residential real estate. Just joking, guys. Today I actually wanted to talk about the pros and cons of selling a property with tenants in place. There's three main things that I think really need to come into consideration when you're deciding whether you should sell your property vacant or to keep your tenants in place during the sale campaign. The first one for me is presentation. If the tenants are presenting the property poorly, if the property's cluttered, if the property's dirty, it really will make the sale hard, and it will cost you $10, $20, $30, maybe even $40,000 in the end result. So that's probably the first and biggest consideration. How does the property present with tenants in place? Secondly, what lease term do the tenants have in place? If the tenants have 12 months, 8 months, even 6 months left on their lease, it's very unlikely that someone's going to buy the property for themselves to live in. So that's your owner occupier market isn't going to be interested in a property with 6 or 12 months left on the property lease. So it's worth keeping this under consideration. If the property is on a periodic lease, so that's a month by month lease, we only need to give the tenants 4 weeks notice to move out. So it is possible to do a 45-day settlement and allow the buyer to take vacant possession of the property. Last consideration that I consider when you're selling, so you've got presentation, the lease details, and the final one's your financial position. Can you afford to have the property sit there vacant? Some people this simply isn't an option to have the property vacant during the sale campaign. So in this case, they have to sell it with the tenant in place. For a vast majority of the situations, having the property vacant will see a far superior result in the end. Even if the property sits vacant for 4 months, say the property is costing $300 per week to hold on to, the property sits vacant for 16 weeks, so that's 1 to 2 months on the market to sell, and then a 30 or a 45-day settlement. That's allowing a little bit of room for error. Most properties in Cairns are selling in that 3 to 4 week period, and then another 30 days to settle. But saying the property does take 4 months from the moment it hits the market to when it settles, costing $300 per week, that's less than $5,000 it's going to cost holding onto the property over that period of time. And for 99.9% of properties, you will actually achieve well over that $5,000 mark by having the property vacant, being able to show it on demand and not have to work around a tenant or worry about how a tenant's presenting the property. So that's my thoughts on selling a property with tenants in place or vacant. I'd love to hear your comments. If you've had experiences selling your property, or have heard friends selling their properties that were tenanted, I'd love to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. Send me a comment. If you do have a question or something you'd love me to cover, once again, comment, send me a message, send me an email. I'd love to answer your questions, guys. Have a great afternoon and appreciate your time.